Hey guys, today in this video I want to talk about locating cards in Mnemonica stack or being able to get Mnemonica stack back into order with the four of clubs being on top and the nine of diamonds on the bottom. If you've done some of my false shuffles that I have a video on, and you can check that out. I'll leave a link in the description. And what you want to do is there's a couple different methods, but you essentially want to have some crimp cards or short cards. And if you don't know what a short card is basically a card that hasn't reached puberty yet and hasn't grown fully. No, I'm kidding. A short card is a card that you have, usually it's a corner short. You've basically you've cut off some of the corner of it. I like to use, I've done it with nail clippers before, or you can use like a nail file. Works really well. And that'll allow you to basically thumb down and find that card whenever you need. So you want to have the four clubs as a shorted card or a crimp card, and then potentially the king of diamonds would work, since that's number 26, that's right in the middle. You basically want to be able to access certain regions of the deck without having to look or go through. So just by feel, you can basically just thumb down to that card. There's the king of diamonds, so then you can get that bottom stack under control if you know that you're dealing with a card that's going to be in the bottom half of the deck. And what I actually am doing with this deck is, this is actually a stripper deck, and I don't really like stripper decks. I found no use for them, but I found a use for this with Mnemonica, since they actually are like shorted cards. So I'll take, in a pinch, if I don't have shorted cards for Mnemonica stack, you can just basically take the card out that you need and flip it around, as I've done, and that will, basically have the, the whole stripper deck thing where it has a piece of the card sticking out so you can access it whenever you need to. Or on the other end, it'll actually be shorted. So there's a lot of different methods, as I said. You could have a corner short. You could have what's called, I believe, like a scallop, where you have like a little piece of up here that's kind of just nicked, and then you can almost like a little oval, and you can basically thumb down from the back and find that card. If you have it on the corner, you can thumb up from this back corner right here till you find it, or you could go from the front corner till you find it. And sometimes there will be, I've seen shorts on the sides of the cards, like here as well. And the stripper deck kind of does that. Let me see. Depending on how you riffle it. Yeah, so it popped off, and I know that's the king of diamonds right there. Another option is that you can make a crimp on the fly. If you're working kind of impromptu without having to short a card, you could just bend the corner of the card or cards that you need crimped. It's not as permanent or as good of a solution, but it can work on the fly and if you're working impromptu. Another use for this is, as I said, if you're doing any of the false shuffles that I have in my video on that, basically it will, like the Charlier shuffle, it's going to essentially cut the deck. And with Mnemonica stack, you can cut the deck as much as you want, and you won't disrupt the order of the cards. You'll just need to get the four clubs back to the top, depending on what kind of trick you're doing. So in this case, now that I've mixed it, four clubs is not on top anymore, but I can easily find that four clubs. And once I get that under control by just thumbing down to it like this, then I can just cut it to the table, and I've got the deck back in the order that I need it to be, with four clubs on top and nine of diamonds on the bottom, and of course the king of diamonds in the middle. So this also comes in handy if you are trying to do a trick where you're going to control any card and you allow the spectator, instead of selecting a card, to just name any card. And that's one of the powerful uses of Mnemonica Stack, is that a spectator can name any card and you can get that card essentially under control without ever touching the card, without the spectator having to touch it, without you having to control the card that way. And so you can basically, if, like I said before, if you know it's in the top stack, you don't have to worry about it. But if it's a card in the bottom stack, you can thumb down until you get to the King of Diamonds, or you could pull down with your pinky. And at that point, you can use whatever method you want. This is the King of Diamonds. If you can do a pinky count, like if it's like the 27th card, you could maybe pinky count to that, like that. Or there's just so much of Mnemonica is basically jazz magic. So you just got to figure out how you would get to that card. But you could at that point double undercut or cut the deck. And I've been talking, but yeah, I have the King of Diamonds on top. So now whatever card they named will be in this top stack, and you can try to access it that way, either thumbing off cards, however. And now I want to talk about, if you want to go even more advanced, you want to break the deck down into quadrants, and you want to have 4 crimp cards, and you're going to have a crimp card at the 13th position, the 26th position, as we already talked about, and then at the 39th position. And when you do that, it'll allow you to, instead of breaking the deck into 2 halves, it will allow you to break the deck into 4 parts. So then you can access whatever cards you need based on whatever quadrant of the deck you need to get into, and that will then allow you to more easily find the selected card. For example, if you were trying to find the 16th card and you had your crimp at the 13th card, and you would just need to basically pinky count from there down a couple cards to the 16th card, and then you could either do a classic pass to keep it invisible, or you could do a double undercut, and you would basically bring that selected card to the top of the deck at that point. I'm going to be releasing a video soon on how you can potentially locate a card in Mnemonica or Mnemdeck or Aronson stack just by cutting the cards without having to have a crimp card, and then you can locate it that way. If you're interested, let me know, leave a comment, and I'll see how you guys respond to this video, and if so, I will make a new video on that soon. So be on the lookout for that as well. And one other method that I mentioned was a breather crimp, and the way that breather crimp will work is you can, like, let's say you had the 9 of diamonds as your breather crimp. You could do a Charlier cut, and that will usually bring it to the bottom. This isn't actually a breather crimp, but somehow I did that. Or you could just do a regular, usually a regular cut with a breather crimp, where you can just pick it up and do like a table cut, and that will usually work to also bring it to the bottom. The way the breather crimp works, I'll try to release some videos on that, but it allows you to basically cut to any card in the deck because there's like a bubble in the middle of the card, which allows you to cut to it whenever you need to. So that's another method of using a crimp with Mnemonica Stack. One more thing I wanted to mention is that you don't have to use the King of Diamonds as your middle crimp card. It really depends on what kind of crimp you have and how you're getting to that crimp. Like in my example, I've got it where I can get my pinky under the King of Diamonds, which will put the that should be the 2 of clubs. So I'll put the 27th card. It'll put the 27th card under my pinky. So this will be the bottom stack, and this will be the top stack. But depending on the crimp you use, you might want to put the crimp at the 27th card or the 2 of clubs for Mnemonica Stack. And this is nothing this is not an exact science, as far as these are just ideas. So really this is something you just need to play around with and see what works for you and what you like best. But this is just one method, and some professionals use this method, and it's a good method. It may be a little bit difficult, so it's kind of a little bit advanced, but you know, try it out, play with it. And like I said, I love the use of just being able to reset the deck like that. That's my favorite use of it, because then you can do some of the false shuffles I mentioned, but then, you know, immediately reset the deck, and it's like it was never shuffled at all. Alright guys, so I hope you like this. Check out my playlists on Mnemonica Stack and also Mnemonica Tricks, and I'll be coming out with some more. And check out my card tricks playlist and also my magic tricks playlist. And also leave a link to Tamariz's Mnemonica book if you want to pick that up, and it'll help support this channel, and you can get some ideas about Mnemonica coming from the master himself. And any purchases made through my links will help to support this channel and is appreciated. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And check out the next video, guys. I appreciate it.